All right, guys, got an interesting video for you here. This is a New York State Assembly member for District 36. He's now running for New York City mayor. His name is Zoran Kwame Mamdani. And he went to New York City, and he started asking working-class New Yorkers, who did you vote for and why? And I want to play the video for you here. We got some interesting responses. Let's watch, and then we'll react.
Did you get a chance to vote on Tuesday?
I didn't vote.
And why did you not vote?
Because I don't believe in the system anymore.
And did you get a chance to vote on Tuesday?
Yes!
And who did you vote for?
Trump!
Black women voting for Trump. Black women voting for Trump. I believe that's the demographic that is still the most pro-Democrat, but black women in New York City voted for Trump there. Here we go.
The $1,000,000 question. Trump.
Trump. Donald Trump. Well, actually, early voted.
That's a lot of Trumps. That's a lot of working-class minorities saying voted for Donald Trump.
I voted for Trump.
Honestly, I didn't vote.
She voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump.
Me too.
Before I voted Democrat, at this moment, I voted Donald Trump.
Damn, that's a lot of people. Now, by the way, it is places like this where he made massive gains among working-class minority communities. There was a lot of people who previously didn't vote for him, voted for him.
Avenue in Queens and Fordham Road in the Bronx are two areas that saw the biggest shift towards Trump in last week's election. Even more residents didn't vote at all.
They like Trump because they don't want the Palestinian, the brothers they killed, the war in Ukraine. Yeah, the Democrats giving all the money and the war. This is no good.
Damn. Look, I do have bad news for that guy, though. If you think Trump is not going to arm and fund the mass slaughter of more Palestinians in Gaza, you got another thing coming. Because not only is he going to do it, he's going to speed it up. He's going to inject some steroids into that Israeli war machine. In fact, we already know that's the case. I'll cover a story for you tomorrow on exactly that. And even on the issue of Ukraine, Trump, his class, I'm going to get it solved in one day. First of all, he's not. Second of all, what exactly does that mean, right? And Michael Tracy's been all over this lately, but you go back and you find the people Trump picked for his previous administration, find the things Trump actually did in his last administration, find the things that he's implying or outright saying he's going to do this time around, and it is like, let's remove whatever chains we've put on Ukraine and let them go further. That's the idea. So if you think it's just like, hey, cut off the money and that's the end of it, that is not going to happen. That is not going to happen. So it's, again, Trump's a master, and Obama was great at this too, but Trump's a master of making people project onto him whatever they want him to believe. And you're seeing a lot of that here. Even though Trump repeatedly made very clear he is to the right of Joe Biden on Gaza, he is more of a warmonger on Gaza. People didn't hear that. Or at the very least, what they did is looked at the situation on the ground and said, this is unacceptable, this is unsustainable, I'm going to blame the Democrats because they're in charge, let me vote for change. But maybe they didn't understand, didn't know that the change is going to be literally more violent. All right, more.
It's because people want lower prices. They probably believe that Trump will give them that.
Market price, all that.
Energy, gas.
La comida. Food.
Most of these people are working families. They're working 1 to 2, 3 jobs, and rent is expensive. Foods are going up, utility bills are up.
And that's your hope, to see a little bit more of an affordable life?
Absolutely.
So in other words, they're like, hey man, inflation's hitting us. The economy sucks, and we want change. That's the idea. And look, you can understand that perspective when they say, hey, we want change. By definition, they don't think it's change to take this current ticket, grab the vice president, and make them the president. They don't think that's change enough. They don't think Kamala's going to break enough with Biden. And to be fair, Kamala basically couldn't answer, how would you be different from Biden? And so they're just thinking change. Again, I don't think they quite understand. If you're picking a revolutionary conservative, you're going to get conservative policies. Those conservative policies can absolutely exacerbate the problem, right? So there might come a time where and I think this will happen relatively quickly, where a lot of people who voted for Trump turn on him. But as of right now, they're just thinking change. Change. That's more change than the opposite.
Trump did in the first 4 years. Fordham Road saw something where Kamala couldn't do that.
There were young voters who didn't vote for her because of the genocide, and I wouldn't have voted for her if I did, but I did vote for her, obviously, because I have common sense.
Can you tell me a little bit more about why you didn't vote?
Since you're out here, Gaza, who should I vote? Either side will go ahead, send bombs from here to kill my brothers and sisters. Palestine issue.
One of the things that's really, I think, clear based on this video is that even though I believe the number was only 4% of the people who voted had foreign policy as their top issue, 4%. That's really low. But then the question is, how many people didn't vote because they saw the U.S. arming and funding a genocide in Gaza. And so they're like, I'm just not going to vote because I feel like I'm getting genocide on one side and genocide on the other side. So I'm not going to go vote. So how many people stayed home as a direct result of that? And that's a fair question. And I think the number is probably more than most people would like to believe.
Other issue is like Russia and then Ukraine. He stopped that war. That's why I bought him.
Oh, Trump really is the master of brand. I'll stop it. I'll stop it in one day. In one day. And then watch. 1 day will come and go. 2 days will come and go. A week will come and go. 7 days will come and go. Like the idea that that'll actually happen. I will say this, though. You guys ready for this? Here's a hot, spicy, controversial take for you this morning. I would not put it by Netanyahu in particular to, as soon as Trump takes office, stop doing these wanton, clear, over-the-top, brazen displays of a slaughter fest. Because then that gives Trump a talking point of, I did it. I did it for Israel. I stopped the war. But remember, that would be like, Netanyahu is basically a hardline Republican. He's far right. He's always wanted Trump to win. He's always wanted the Republicans to win because they give him more leeway. And so he would do that purely as a tactical maneuver to make it look like, see, you always got to vote for Republicans because they're so dovish. Look at what just happened. We stopped brazenly shooting children in the head every day. So I could see that happening. But at the same time, we all know the real goals of Israel, which is totally ethnically cleanse Gaza, totally take the West Bank, which Trump is now okay with because he took $100 million from Miriam Adelson. And maybe they'll go back more to a mission creep style of doing this. But their ultimate goal is resettling Gaza. Their ultimate goal is taking all the West Bank. Their ultimate goal is expelling Palestinians and ethnically cleansing the region. And it might just be a matter of how they go about doing that based on the optics of what they want people to perceive about the different U.S. administrations.
Say you're a Democrat and stand for the genocide that's going on in Gaza, period.
Practically, I like Democrat. But I don't like this. Gaza, a lot of people are dying.
Interesting. That kind of reminds me of what we've been saying all along, right? How before Gaza, we were having the conversation about how Joe Biden is the best economic president in our lifetimes. And it's true. He was. The stuff that he was able to get way more done than anybody really thought possible on the economy, especially with such slim margins. But post-Gaza, it's like all that kind of goes away, right? Nobody's really paying attention to the NLRB being phenomenal because of what you're doing overseas. And that guy seems like he's sort of echoing the same thing. He's like, yeah, I kind of like democratic policies, but on Gaza, you can't, that's not okay.
Voted for Democrats in the past?
I have.
And what would it take for you to vote for a Democrat in the future?
Being able to pay attention to the regular Americans and their economic needs.
They should make economics the forefront of their campaign.
It's just 2016 Bernie may have been our true last off-ramp, to save this country. It really does feel like 2016 Bernie was our true last off-ramp. And it was snuffed out. It was snuffed out by the DNC. It was snuffed out by the media. God, it hurts to think back on that, doesn't it?
I voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. I voted against Trump also in the 2018 midterms. Insulting us, playing on our emotions. All they do is shame you, and they just want to use like glitzy campaigns, and they get celebrities.
Like if you're speaking the things that people want to hear about, I don't care what color you are, I'll vote for you.
We have a mayor's race coming up next year, and if there was a candidate talking about freezing the rent, making buses free, making universal childcare a reality, are those things that you'd support?
Absolutely, he'd have my vote all day.
We need childcare that is affordable. Buses should be free. The hike in the Metro cards is like totally unaffordable.
So my name is Zoran Mamdani. I'm going to be running for mayor next year.
Wow.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to be running on that platform.
I'm going to vote for you. Your energy is...
Thank you. My energy is getting up to inflation.
All right, there you go. Shout out to this guy. This is very, very illuminating. Look, it's Trump, let's call it what it is, found a way to master the vibes. Trump found a way to make people think he's going to change stuff, and I desperately want change, right? And I think what drives me crazy is the lack of people knowing the specifics, looking into the specifics, the lack of the media talking about the specifics, the lack of the Democrats talking about the specifics. But he was able to pull that off. And I think the bottom line is that with Kamala, people just didn't believe her. They just don't believe you, right? Because she was running on some decent things. $6,000 child tax credit, for example. Banning price gouging for groceries, reducing medical debt, picking Tim Walz, who's the best populist governor in the country, but people just looked at them and just didn't believe them. And what do you do about that? Literally, all you can do about that is change the vibes and not have that candidate. That's all you can do. And Trump mastered the vibes, man. He mastered the vibes. And now we're going to have to deal with 4 years of, change is coming. But it is not the kind of change I think most people want. I think it's a kind of change that people will very, very quickly come to regret. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.